So, generally this session actually we scheduled for Python basics. So means we actually having a regular session daily, but this session I'm just giving whatever I completed here, and for sake of for Karthik, for you actually I think this session is sufficient, it seems like. We'll see. Okay, so what I will cover, so I'll cover in this session Python basics, which is generally how to write Python script in Windows operating system and Linux operating system, and generally what all are required to comment or something like, what is the compiler name, that means interpreter name here, and we will see how to take input from the keyboard. That means like in general, if you see any other language, like if you see C language, we use scanf. Second, the console, actually, like console is nothing but it's a terminal. So in Python we have a different consoles, means like, for example, if I open command prompt, so if I type Python here, then it opens Python console. This is actually like a terminal. So console and terminal both are same actually. So that is actually one platform we can run directly instead of writing a script. That means Python having two different modes. One is interactive mode and the second one is script mode. What is interactive mode means we can directly interact with the Python interpreter. So here it is. That means if I type a equal to 10 and if I print a, it display 10. That means I am directly interacting with the Python interpreter. So it executing and will get output. We are getting it. But if you write a script and if you execute that script, then that is actually script mode. That means we open maybe in Linux environment we edit it, and if it is in Windows we use something Notepad or Notepad++, or even we use some IDEs like Eclipse, or there is a specific IDE for write Python script, PyCharm. So anything we can use it, like a PyCharm or Eclipse. If you are using Eclipse, you should install some plugin called PyDev, then it works in Eclipse also, like that. So whenever if you are writing a script, that means in a text editor, then we can say that is a script mode. But whenever if you are executing anything here in the terminal, then we can say that is interactive mode. Interactive mode means we can directly interact with Python interpreter. So there are two different types. So we'll discuss here like how to take input from the keyboard. Input from keyboard. Yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, so how to take input from keyboard. Then later we will see, this is actually we are planning in this session itself. Okay, and we will see like Python operators. and we'll see like conditional statements, how to write conditional statements, and we'll see loops and loop control statements. Loop control statements. So these all are actually in Python very basics. If you know this, then you should understand how to write variables. There are different types of variables in Python. So we will cover till here. Okay. So coming to the variables, there are different types of variables actually in Python. So we have a numbers, and we have a string, and we have a list, and we have a tuples like this, and dictionaries. And also sets. These are variables we have. Different types of variables we have. For example, if I want to define a multiple values, then we will go to the list. But list and tuples both are multiple values only, both we use for multiple values. But list concept, if you define multiple values, if you want, you can change that values. If you want, you can delete it. If you want, you can replace it. So insert, delete, replace or append, this all we can do with list. That is why we can say this is mutable. But coming to the tuples, tuples are immutable. We cannot change the values. Once if you write a list of values to the variable, that is fixed. If you want to change that values, we cannot. And what is dictionaries means? Dictionaries generally, it's a key and value pair. For example, I have a employee table, and I want to access employee name based on the employee number. So employee number is a key, then employee name is a value. So based on key we can access the value, that is actually dictionaries. But you should understand this all if you want to write any Python code. There are a lot of people are using nowadays Python. If you see like OpenStack, whatever it is, Red Hat OpenStack or the open source OpenStack, whatever, if you see, the OpenStack is designed with Python. And also there are many tools actually like Ansible, DevOps tools, Ansible totally designed with Python. So there are many things actually nowadays the people are using Python. But if you understand, see even web framework, people are using Django or Flask. So for Django also you should know Python. But for these all applications, you no need as a master in Python, but at least if you are aware of this all the concepts, whatever here we are discussing, that is more than enough. So the thing is, all the tools already designed. So OpenStack or something like Ansible, this all already designed. So you should understand how the code is working. Sometimes if you want to add some functions inside a code, then you should be aware of that. So that is why if you have a knowledge in Python, then you can do it. And moreover, Python is very simple. So we can simply understand the code. This is comparing with programming, very less code, and functionality is very easy to get that, and also debugging is very simple. So this type of variables we have. And again, after that we have a concept called functions here. So function is nothing but, there are two different types of functions. One is a user defined function, that means we define our own functions. And the second one, built-in function, it comes with the language, it comes with Python. So for example, if you see print function, print we are using to display, how we are using in shell scripting echo, the same way we are using in Python print function. So that is a built-in function. Like that we have, for example, if you see strings having string built-in functions. If you see list, list having many built-in functions. If you see dictionaries, dictionary having many built-in functions. For example, if you take like a list concept, I want to add something, I want to append something, insert something, delete something, all actually we have a built-in functions. But the same concept in programming languages like if you see C or C++, there is a concept called data structure separately. So for example, if you want to insert a new value between two indexes, we use actually linked list. So it's something difficult concept to get insert a value. First we need to increase that size, then later actually we will do with the linked list. But here not like that. For that one built-in function we have. So if you use that built-in function insert, you can able to insert that. That much of very simple we can say. So coming to the functions, here we will cover the built-in functions as well as user-defined functions. So the built-in functions, I told it comes with the language, and user-defined function, we will define our own function, because instead of writing repeated times, so for example, just assume I have 100 lines of code. In 100 lines of code, 30 lines almost repeated lines, because it is required to that script. So I used that 30 lines repeated times. So that is not actually the good programming. So if you write a repeated times, actually Python interpreter, it just executes the same statement. Instead of that, what we can do, we can define a function, and whenever if it is required, we can call that function. So if you write a function, what happens, that is very much easy to understand, and code length also it reduces. So the code length it reduces if you use functions, and generally the interpreter, it understands very easily. That means it calls the functions directly if you run it. So that means a code length is simple, and functionality, if you use it, then that's actually we can say good programming. And if you are good in functions, then the later actually we have a modules. So modules is nothing but collection of functions. So in Python, if you know the functions, modules and packages, you are gem in Python really, because these three concepts are really important, because we use many times modules. So if you are good in modules, generally you can implement. For example, see here in Python, see I told Python is using everywhere, but the thing is there are different libraries, different packages in Python. For example, if you want to implement Python plus Hadoop, there is a package called PyDoop. So they use PyDoop library or something, we can say package. So if you use package PyDoop, then you can implement then Python plus Hadoop related things. That means every platform, they have their own modules, they are using it. The language is same, Python is same, but they, for example, just assume they want to connect some database, but database related modules are required. If they want to connect some middleware, then middleware modules are required. So this is a one platform plus combination of another platform. If you want to work, that platform related module is required. So like that, here everything already implemented almost. So we can use that modules and we can implement it. That means we can use that module and we can connect that middleware, or we can connect that database, or we can connect that whatever the platform, cloud or whatever it is. So that is why these three concepts really important. If you understand, then what platform you are using, that does not matter. You can simply understand it. But that is actually based on your domain. So if you are working something network related, then you should know that network related modules, what are the modules the people are using, then you should implement it. So the language, if you know, then that is easy. Here the language is required, plus you should have knowledge in networking, then it is easy. So for example, if you are working with something cloud, so you should know Python plus you should know cloud, then you can implement it. So now for example, if you ask me how to write this cloud related this script, it will not work, because the reason, the domain should be there. That means if I am working with that particular domain, then I can able to answer it. You got my point, right? So Python is similar for everywhere, but there are list of modules. You should understand what platform you are working, that platform related packages or modules you should know, then it is easy. But here we are covering how to write our own modules, how to write your own packages. That can help actually, like if you want to write your own modules as well. But this is a generic concept, but this generic can implement everywhere. This is a formula you can use everywhere like that. Then if you know this, then really, like file handling, so regular expressions. So file handling is nothing but what file handling means, like how to read a file. There is some text file or something log file. I want to open that file with Python script. I want to read the data and I want to display only 10 lines, or read the data and assign into another file. And the output I don't want to display on the command prompt, I want to redirect that into another file for backup purpose. So these all actually, if you are aware of file handling, then that is easy. So file handling, again there are some syntaxes, we use that. And coming to the regular expressions, some people are already aware of grep and scd command. So if you are aware of grep and scd, then regular expressions are very much easy. As I said, the regular expressions is a common concept in each and every language. If you are writing a Perl script or Python or Ruby or everywhere, like shell scripting. So the wildcard characters are similar, but writing syntax is different. So regular expressions in Python, we have a module for that, which is RE module. But in shell, we use as a command like grep or scd commands. But here we are not going to use command. We have a concept in Python itself, regular expressions. We use directly that. If you see the Google search engine or YouTube search, those people designed many algorithms using with Python for search engine purpose. Because if Google, Python introduced by Guido van Rossum, he was with Google almost 15 plus years. So his team actually designed many algorithms for Google search engine purpose. So that is what actually, like, Python is very much famous nowadays. Everywhere Python is there. Even lot of tools designed with Python nowadays. Like, people are crazy about that, because the programming languages, if you see, it's very difficult to understand and implement. But Python is very easy, and whatever you are doing with Java, we can say, like Java, the same thing we can do with Python. So that is why actually nowadays, Python is a more competitor, for the Java. So, and also it's open source, so we can, we will get that Python source code and all from the Python community itself, python.org. So these all we are going to cover, and also object oriented introduction. We will see how we are using in Python. These all, but this is a content actually. But maybe some people, I'll just give you this session today. Python basics, that means how to write Python. It's actually, we can say, the overview of Python. There are regular sessions, right? So there actually from variables I'll continue that, but here today's session I'll cover this Python basics and how to take input from the keyboard, then operators and conditional statements and loops and loop control statements. Any doubts now for this? Anyone? Hi Monica. That's what Python basics. I'll come that concept now. Yeah. And yeah, so for your batch actually, this session is very helpful, and actually we are going to understand how to write Python. So what I understood from your boss, just give the overview, that is enough. We don't want deep dive like that, they told. So that's what actually I scheduled this session with this all the concepts. and I do have regular batch for robot. So for you actually we have a regular sessions like the regular session schedule, right? So we'll go and cover each and every day one topic like that. So it takes 25 days. It takes 25 to 30 hours. So almost today's session, if we complete till here, then later again, like maybe it takes 20 hours to complete. Any doubts now? Okay. So we'll see now Python basics. So Python basics means here we will discuss how to write Python script in Windows. In Windows, Python is not inbuilt. You should install, download and install. But if you see in Linux operating system or Mac OS or any flavor of Unix like Linux or Solaris or HP Unix or IBM AX operating system, or even in Linux flavors like Mac, Red Hat, Ubuntu, CentOS, right, Oracle Enterprise Linux, these all operating systems Python is inbuilt, so you no need to install. Only in Windows, we know that Windows actually, even if you want to work with the Microsoft Word or Excel, you should install that. Nothing is inbuilt, right? So Python also the same, like we should download and install. So we'll see first Python. I don't want to go any theoretical concept, so I'll share some theoretical concepts recording if you want later. But I just go with directly technical things here. So that is actually how to write Python script. For that, what are the requirements required, like in Windows and Linux. Then we will move to the how to take input from the keyboard, those things. So theoretical concepts means like who introduced, when it came, and the history, which is really not required. Yeah. Yes. The Mac OS, whatever I am writing in Linux, the same style you can use in Mac. So in Mac, open a terminal. Okay, so in Mac also by default interpreter is bash. In Linux, which is in Red Hat, also the default interpreter is bash, because Mac is a flavor of Linux. Whatever I am writing in Linux, the same style you can use in Mac. So Mac terminal, open the terminal and try it, the same thing. Okay. Yeah. So first we will see how to write Python script. Python script in Windows and Linux. So whatever we are discussing here in Linux, you can apply for all the flavors of Unix, which is even for Mac as well. So now in Windows, if you want to write a Python script, the first thing, Python is not inbuilt, you should download and install. So before downloading and install, you should aware of 3 steps here, which is commonly we use in Python. That is Python interpreter name. Okay, Python interpreter name is Python. Whenever if you are executing a Python script, if it is in Windows, we execute Python interpreter name space script name. If it is in Linux, we can execute Python script 2 different ways, using with Python interpreter name and using with the /. We'll see that. So the first thing, Python interpreter name is Python. Where we use, we will see later. And the second one, the Python extension. That means Python script extension. Okay, Python script extension is .py. So Python script extension is what? .py. So for example, whenever if you are saving a script, you should save like this, sample.py. So the extension is really required. Yes, in Windows it is required, it is must in Windows, but in Linux that is optional, because If you see in any Unix flavor, all the Unix flavors, any extension, the operating system, it always treats as a normal text file only. But why extension? Only for our understanding. That is only in Unix flavors I am telling. Okay. But in Windows, that is must, because we know that Windows actually, there is a concept of like a exe execution, executable files. So if you save the script with a .py, immediately you can see the logo, like this is a something like .py script, like that, Python file. So there is a differences between text files and a Python file in Windows, but in Linux generally it treats everything as a text file. But the best practice always use extension all the time. Then only you can clearly understand based on the script name itself, hey, this is a Python script. So we will not get any confusion on it, right? So that is the second most important thing. And the third one here, you should know how to comment in Python. The Python, it allows two types of comments. Okay, the first comment, which is single line comment, we use commonly in all the languages. Single line comment, all the languages, means especially like scripting languages, not in the programming we use different way like this, but here I am just using I am telling that scripting, like Shell or Perl or Python or Ruby, we use actually single line comment always hash, which is a pound symbol. And in Python we have a multi-line comment also. You can comment multiple lines at a time, so which is multi-line comment. So the multi-line comments, we use 3 double quotes here, and this is a comments and ends with 3 double quotes. So why comments are required? Generally the comments are required for documentation purpose. So that means it is very easy once if you open a script and if you see, like if you comment it, anyone can understand easily, instead of going with the technical functions or whatever the script through. Then we can understand based on the comments itself. So this script designed for so and so reason. That means the description, it helps to understand what this script is doing. And the description, actually it understands what version they used, and the description we can understand in the comments, like documentation purpose I told, right? So there actually we can understand when it developed, who it developed, this all actually, and also like inside a script, if there is any new function they added, then we can actually see that documentation there also in a comment. This function is using so and so reason, like that. So here we have a multi-line comment. You can comment like directly multiple lines at a time. For example, just assume I have a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay. Yeah. So now for example, if I want to comment only 5th record, then you can use like this. But if I want to comment a 5th line to 9th line, then what we can do, we can use like this. Always remember, we cannot write comment here like this. The line, it should be in the next line generally. So the write here 3 double quotes, and the comment starts from the next line, like that. This is a statement, and again this is 3 double quotes. That means if I execute this script, this total out of 10 lines, it executes only 1 2 3 4 and 10, since 5 6 7 8 9 are commented. Okay. So there are 2 different types of comments in Python. One is single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comment, if you want to comment one specific line, or else even we can use single line comment for multiple lines. How? So every time you should write like this for every line. Generally we are doing in shell scripting same, because in shell scripting, since we don't have that multi-line comments, we use always single line comment. That is actually for each and every line. That means some scripting guys, they use like this. that is type, their style. If you want, you can write 3, but one hash is really required, right? That is, for different people use different ways, but one hash we use for comment. So this is single line and multi-line. So these three concepts you should never remember always whenever you are writing a Python script. Okay. So now I told in Windows you should download and install. So how to do that? There are many different websites we can download that. If you see like python.org, it's an official web page for Python. For Python there are a lot of communities, and also here in Python every year they'll conduct workshops. You can search in YouTube as well, or else you can search here also. In the latest news you can see every year they'll conduct some workshops, so which is PyCon. So PyCon news, like PyCon US, PyCon India, PyCon UK, PyCon Canada, like every country they'll conduct, which is free workshops. So those workshops actually we can see the latest technologies, like how Python is very useful in that. So like that you can see that. So this is PyCon JP 2016 call for proposals. You can see like each and every country here, with the dates and where the locations and all every year. So I do attend every year actually in India. So this is really something helpful, I actually attended last year itself OpenStack and all. So they actually gives some seminars on it. So but it's really we can say it's really helpful. You can watch that in YouTube as well, or you can see the dates here, you can attend it if it is near to you. Yeah, so this is one thing. And the second thing, there is a communities. You can see lot of conferences and what technologies they are using nowadays, like latest technologies what they implemented. And again Python is using everywhere at all, even for robotics, even for scientific related things, and NASA is using Python. Not only software related like Google or something like DevOps tools, not only that, everywhere Python is there. So those informations also we can see here. And Python documentation especially, you don't need to search actually in Google. So here itself you can find that documentation in detail. And Python there are two different versions. One is 2.x version and 3.x version. So the 3.x version actually we can say this is a beta version. That means still under see people are using 3.x, but that is a beta version. So that still actually under progress itself. But who is using means web framework related people like Django and Flash, those people are using actually that, because that is Python 3 versions really we can say it is easy to implement web framework related things like the web applications. So Python 3 versions, there are a lot of specific modules designed only for web related, UI development related. And server side people are using 2.x. So this is actually nowadays the people using 2.x versions, and 3.x not a we can say for example if you see the version upgradation 2.8, 2.9, 2.10 like that it comes. So here you should understand 3.x versions are totally different with 2.x. So 2.x platform is different, 3.x platform is different. But if you know 2.x, you can understand 3.x. But 3.x, especially people are using UI development like that. But 2.x people are using whatever the tools you are developing, or whatever the server side people are using automation things, everything like Python 2.x. You got my point, right? So if you open this Python 2.x, you can see the documents here. So tutorial. You can go this tutorial, and here you can see from the basic, you can see for example I just want to see what is numbers. Then if you click on this number, then you can see the example. But here they'll give generally I told you, right, So directly in the interactive mode, not in the script mode. But in the real time we never use this interactive mode. For learning purpose, yes, this is useful, but for example, just assume if you are writing in interactive mode, this is for one time. Again, if you come out from the terminal or console, then will not see that whatever you executed. You got my point, right? So you should know like how to write in a script instead of writing in a interactive mode. So even in US, if you see like even the school level, they introduced actually Python, right, in school education itself. Might be there are, I told, right, there are a lot of people are using different cases, even for Android development and mobile games, game development also people are using. But everywhere I told Python language you should know, plus those modules. For example, game development, if you want to work, then game development modules or packages you should know. Then you can implement easily like that. Okay, so this is a documentation, and you can download Python from here itself, python.org. So if you want to download, see the downloads. Python 3.5.2 and Python 2.7.12. This is the latest version here. Okay, and see the latest versions, like we know that since Windows XP is outdated, means actually see Windows XP, even I'm favor of Windows XP, but Microsoft, they stopped actually support for Windows XP. That is, everyone knows that. So they are not giving support for Windows XP. So hence this Python 3. plus versions, which is latest versions 3.1. So 6 months back it introduced, but Windows, they stopped actually one year ago for Windows XP support. So now, like there is no support for Windows XP from Microsoft. So these people actually, they stopped actually. Python 3. plus cannot be used on Windows XP earlier. We cannot install it. We cannot write that. Okay. But if you use Windows 7 or Windows 8 and 10 like that, then you can able to. 2.s it works. Still it works. Okay. So 2.7 you can use this, but my suggestion, instead of downloading from python.org, you can download from the other third-party tool, which is actually ActiveState. ActiveState. This is on third-party tool. Sorry, third-party website, and you can see here Perl, TCL tool command language, and Python. You can download from Python here, Active Python. Click on Active Python. And you may ask why the reason. There is a reason. If you download from Python website, you should go on the environment variable here, environment, that means like on computer, right click, properties, and go to advanced system settings and environment variables, and you should configure, you should update this path if you are downloading from python.org. But if you download from ActiveState, you no need to do that. And people are using in the real time ActiveState only. You got my point, right? So this is actually ActiveState, and the reason we can say, if you see python.org, Python is since open source. So if you want support, generally will not get. Might be will get from communities, but ActiveState, if you download and if you are using, or if you buy commercial versions, you will get support from ActiveState people. So that is one of the reason here. Then download here from this. Once download completed, then after that install it. It takes almost 2 minutes of time to download and install. And check here which operating system you are using. Means Windows only, but in Windows also again we have a 32 and 64 bit, right? So just check that. See here it shows x86, x64. So you should know that which operating system you are using. So go to properties and check here system type. So this is 64-bit operating system. I am using 64-bit operating system. Okay. So you should check that which operating system you are using. Then if it is a 64, then go to the second one and download it. Okay. Then after download and installation completed, remember, after installation completed only open this command prompt, because if you open command prompt at the time of installation, then if you type this command it will not work. So you should refresh. That means you should close the command prompt, again reopen it after installation completed. Then type python space hyphen capital V, it display the version of Python. Okay. So Python 2.7.8 I am using. Almost this is the latest version. So this is the way we actually download and install in Windows. So if you see this version in like command prompt python space hyphen capital V, if you see the version, we are ready to go to write a script. So are you guys now trying to install, or you guys are trying later? I don't know. Okay, so let me know if it is not working. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes of time. I'll be away, and I'll come after 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm back. So did you install? Check it. Okay, so you want to install now, so I'll just share the presenter. Can you please show me that? Accept the presenter. Hmm. Yes. So install, right? So just open the command prompt. Sorry, the C folder, C drive. Okay. Okay. Where from where you install? Is it Windows 10? Is it? Okay. Then go to the the computer folder. Right click on it. Go to properties. Go to advanced system settings. And go to environment variables. Yeah. Now edit here path. So go to down. Yeah, down. Yes, here. Down means variable value. So there I'll give you path. Just put that path. Just a moment. So put semicolon. After that only semicolon. Then use C colon Python 2.7 or 2.7 like that. Put Python 2.7. C colon, right? C colon, not double quotes. That is not a double. C colon, I said. Save it. Click on OK. Down. See, you used actually. No. Just a moment. Open again. Click on edit. See that after script, is it a semicolon or colon? It should be a semicolon. I said semicolon. After C there is a colon, right? Okay, then save it. Okay, and click on OK, and here again OK. Now close the command prompt and reopen it. Now type Python space -v. Okay, so that is the your version 2.7.10. So you can able to write a Python script. So if any others having any doubt, then let me know. Good to go, right? Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Can you able to see my screen now? Okay. So how to write the script? So there is actually text editor, right? So here open any text editor. Means Notepad or Notepad++ or edit plus. So what I will do, first I will open with Notepad, then later we will see with Notepad++. So I am just opening Notepad here, open Notepad. Then go to the file, save as, then the script name, I am just writing here sample, okay, sample.py. I told py extension is must. Then the text document, go to all files, save as type is all files. It should be all files always, remember, because if you use dot, like text document, what happens, it will go sample.py.txt, again that is a text file. So you should use all files here, then save it. So if you save, then you can see here the differences between the text file and Python file. See here, it is displaying text document and this is a Python file, and you can see the logo also for Python script. So now the script I saved, but I want to write something, so I am just writing print hello world. So this is a string. The string you can write between the single quotes or double quotes. There is no differences between single quotes and double quotes in Python. Whatever if you write between the single quotes or double quotes, both are same. It treats as a normal string. So I just mentioned here print hello world, and semicolon is not required, which is optional in Python. I'm just removing it. Then open the command prompt and go to that particular directory, so where this script I saved. So you can execute using with total path, but generally instead of that we can go to that particular directory and we can run it. Who is Chandu? Okay. So here I'm just moving that directory now, cd desktop, on the desktop Linux, and in the Linux you can just go to this directory. You can copy this total path and just use cd, then paste that path. It works, but or else you can go one by one directory. Okay, so now I'm in the same directory. You can see dir command it display, like how we are using ls command in Mac or Unix. The same way we are using dir command here, and you can see sample.py and session1.txt here. So sample.py, which is a sample.py, is a Python script, right? So here we just saved that some print statement. Now I just want to run that script. How to run? Python is an interpreter name, so Python space, then script name sample.py, then run it. Hello world. The script executed successfully. So this is the way in Windows we write it. This is in Notepad, right? If you want to write in Notepad++, the same process, but we open actually Notepad++. But Notepad++ generally it display like if it is a built-in function, it displays something like colors. Okay, I'm just writing here again some script name session1_script .py, then it should be all files, so here all types, then save it. So Notepad or Notepad++, this is common for all other scripting as well, like not only Python, even for Perl or other scripting. So I'm just using print, then hello, then run it. Python space, see here color. So since it is a built-in function, it displays some different color. And also whenever if you write, see for example if I type RA, then immediately it is displaying RA related built-in functions in Python. So that is what actually it's actually like we can say user friendly, like if you type the character and those character related built-in functions we can see from the dictionary. Right, so I'm executing now python space then session1 underscore script dot py. Hello. Okay, so here open any text editor and write a Python script there and save script with the .py extension, right? .py extension. So for example, sample.py. Then execute the script with interpreter name. So execution is what? Python interpreter name, then space script name. Okay, so this is the common way to write Python script. So in any concept, whatever you are writing in Python, so this is the common steps, like open any text editor, write the code and save with Python.py extension and open the command prompt and run it. So this is in command prompt. So any doubts here before going to Linux operating system? Okay. Yeah. So now we will see how to write in Linux. So the same whatever I discussed now, I'll go for Linux, right? So whatever I'll cover there, you can use for Mac. So how to write Python script in Linux? In Unix flavors, Python is inbuilt, I told. There are different ways. You can check directly Python space -v. Now actually people are using Red Hat 7. Okay. So in Red Hat 7, if you see, maybe you will get latest version, Python 2.7. But I am using Red Hat Linux 5, so which is old. So here we'll see what version we can see like Python here. We'll see it just a moment. And for this actually you can install latest version also, that does not matter, like you can use that libraries either through minstall or through RPM, you can install that. But generally we have Python, so you don't need to think about that. So -V, I have Python 2.4 here, but latest is 2.7. Okay, so now this is inbuilt in all the Unix flavors. So if you are using like anyone Mac, just open the terminal and type Python space -v here. Then you can see the Python version there. And now I want to see where is this Python interpreter. See, in Windows we installed it, the Python interpreter by default it installed in C drive, Python 2.7, that is actually the path. But in Linux, if you type which Python, you will get that Python interpreter path. So this is a Python interpreter path in Unix flavors, /usr/bin/python. So why this is required? Yes, this is required whenever if you are writing a script. So in Linux, Python is inbuilt, right? So inbuilt, right? So here Python is inbuilt. So you can check using with the Python space -v, it display the version, or if you want to check the Python interpreter path, you can use which is a command it display where the Python interpreter installed. So now we actually confirmed that there is a Python in my Linux operating system. So I saw that even version and Python interpreter path as well, /usr/bin/python. So since it is a user package, we can see under USR. Then how to write the script now? here also open any text editor, but in Linux text editors we have many text editors like VI. VI is a famous editor. You can use Nano or ED or Emacs, right? There are a lot of text editors in Linux, but VI is a common editor, VI or Vim. So I'll just open with VI. So VI, then the script name sample.py. Then write a script and save the script with WQ. We know that that is actually, say, you should be aware of VI editor again, otherwise it's difficult. So that's actually, if you are aware of Unix platform, then you can able to understand. Alright. So now see, I'll go to I'll create a one directory called something 9pm. Oh, it's already exist. mkdir 9pm. Okay. So now I'm in present working directory /home/babu/9pm. Okay. So now I'm trying to write one Python script here. I told we use VI editor, VI, then the script name sample.py and enter. So this is a command mode. How to go insert mode? We use small x, right? And print, I want to display something hello world here. Hello world. And save the script. So if you open the file cat sample.py, so this is the script now, print hello world, which is one single line I have. And I want to run the script. You can run two different ways in Python. One is using with an interpreter, which is Python then sample.py. See the script executed. The same style we executed in Windows. And you know, Python is generally platform independent. That means if you write a script in Windows, you can run the same script in any other operating systems as well, like in Linux or Solaris, like that. So because this is platform independent language, write once, run anywhere, like Java. Okay. So now Python space sample.py, the script executed, but the second way we can execute, this is actually like, you know, the common way to run any script. /sample.py. So we use commonly to run any script, means whether it is a shell or Python or whatever the language, we use commonly like / then script name. But if you run the script with /, two things you should check. One is, you know, one is actually like the permissions. So it always checks read and execute permission for the script. And if there is no read and execute permission, we will get a permission denied. So if you see ls-l, then the sample.py. So here you can see the permissions. So the script, the file having the owner having only read and write permission. There is no execute permission here. So if there is a execute permission, okay, then we can able to run the script. But I am giving actually chmod. Chmod is a command to change the permission. I want to give only for owner, g+x, then sample.py. And check again ls-l here. So now the script having read, write, execute permission. Can we run the script now? Is it execute successfully? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah. Hi Karthik. Hi Monica. Then, oh, you join now. Manupati. Okay. Is it works or not? Anyone? If I execute a script with the /sample.py, can we get output or not? You guys already know self-scripting, right? So you should answer it. Sekhar, your batch. One answer, yes or no? Or I don't know. Whatever, like I just need answer from you guys. No. Okay. Now, is there any reason? Okay, so see here actually, Robert, here actually we got print command not found, right? Why print command not found? Is there any specific reason? See, the script actually executed successfully, but we got error message. See, the first time we got permissions denied, I gave the permission and I executed, the script executed, but the script executed by shell interpreter, not Python interpreter. So, the reason, in shell script, if you see the shell interpreter, generally we use echo, then something welcome, it executes. But if I write print here, then welcome, it will not work, because by default, I'm in Linux operating system. In Linux operating system, the default shell is bash. Echo space $shell it display which interpreter by default here in this operating system. So in Linux by default is bash, in Mac by default is bash. So the bash means like the interpreter, which is a shell interpreter, born again shell. So the bash not able to understand what is this print. That is what actually we got command not found. So now how to run that with /, because whenever if you run a script with the /, remember, whenever if you run a script with the /, the script, the / means it will go and call the default interpreter, which is a bash interpreter here. Then bash interpreter is trying to execute that script, but there is no echo function inside a script, because since we are writing a Python script, but bash interpreter not able to understand that print function, then we got actually print command not found. So for that reason, you should know where is this Python interpreter. So we know that Python interpreter is exist under USR bin Python. Now take this Python interpreter, okay, sample.py. So take this Python interpreter here and use the shebang line. This is a shebang, hash exclamation is a shebang line. Why shebang line is required means shebang, it invokes the interpreter. What interpreter you want to invoke? I want to interpreter Python interpreter. If you want Perl, then you should write Perl interpreter. So I just want to invoke now Python interpreter. The Python interpreter path is /usr/bin/python. Then save the script with the :/wq. Then sample.py. If you see, this is a script. Now if you run a script with the sample.py, again the request it goes to bash interpreter, but in the first line shebang it invokes the Python interpreter, then next line onwards Python interpreter will take care, then we'll get the output. So we got it. So you should know what script you are writing, whether it is a Perl or Python or shell. If it is a Python, the first concept you should know, where is this Python interpreter in this OS. This is required only for Unix flavors. Okay. So here the Python interpreter exists under USR bin Python. Then use the shebang line and write this line in the first line. If you see any document in generally like Google or somewhere, you can see this actually like the script, Python script or Perl script, it starts with hash exclamation USR bin Python, because the reason those scripts actually it's related to Linux. Okay. So if you want to run the script in Unix flavors, that is required generally with the / again. Okay. If you want to run the script with the /, the shebang concept is required and interpreter path is required. If you want to run the script with interpreter name, we already discussed here, directly it runs. Is it clear now or any doubts? Yes, robot, is it clear now? Yeah. So we actually discussed even in shell, right, Monica? But you guys are not giving answer. I feel bad. Okay. So any doubts here how to write a Python script in Linux? Okay. So did you try it in Mac, robot? It's working, right? Okay. Yeah, this session recording you will get it after the session. So you can watch this recording session and these notes as well. So two different ways we can. One is using with interpreter name Python, then script name. Then the second way using with the dot slash, then script name. But if you are writing a second, if you are executing the second way, then you should know the permissions, read and execute permission required for owner. That means we can say that is user, right? So for that reason I just giving only for owner u plus x, then the script name dot py. And second, we know that shebang is required in the first line. So here how to write, shebang line is required in the first line. So how to write that shebang line, then usr, then bin, then python. So what is this shebang? So this is a shebang. What it will do, it invokes the interpreter. Okay. Yeah. So we understood how to write Python script in Windows and how to write in Linux, and we understood what is the extension for Python script and what is the interpreter name for Python and how to write the comments in Python. So if you know this, at least we can able to write Python script, right? Then now we'll see how to take input from the keyboard. Okay, so how to take input from keyboard, that means from the user. In Python there are two built-in functions to take input from the keyboard, that is raw underscore input and the second one is input. Okay, there are two different functions, one is raw underscore input and the second one is input function. And before going to this concept, you should understand what is variable first. So I told actually there are different types of variables in Python, but at least the basic variable, like how to define a variable in Python. So this is very simple to define a variable. So we use actually variable name equal to value, whatever the data, like value. And you know, in Python there is no concept of data types. You no need to use integer, float or string like that, like in programming we use int a equal to 10, right? But here not required, directly you can write a equal to 10, which is very simple, and semicolon also optional. But if I define a equal to 10, something b equal to some float value or string value, how Python knows that? whether it is integer or float or string. For that, we have a built-in function in Python which is a type. So type is a built-in function. We can see which type of data it is. For example, say I am writing actually script1.py, and see I am defining some variables, a equal to 10 and b equal to 4.5 and c equal to Unix. There are three different types of variables we have. So the variable declaration is very simple in Python. Variable name equal to value, that's it. But there are different types of variables, that is different case, we'll see that. But the variable here, it's a simple variable, a equal to 10, b equal to 4.5, then c equal to Unix I define. Now I want to display, how to display. Generally, for example, just assume if it is in shell, how to display a value? Anyone? Not echo a. Yeah, it's echo $a. So dollar is a variable substitution in shell. We use that. We used actually echo $a. But now in Python you don't need to use dollar. It's very simple. Print a. That's it. If you use print a, it displays the value from the variable a. If you want to display a as a string, then you should write a in quotes or double quotes also you can use. That means if you use a double quotes or single quotes, it will treat as a string. But if you use without quotes, then it will understand, okay, this is a variable. Now the same way I want to display print b, and same way I want to display print c here. And I told we have a built-in function called type. I just want to check the type also. So print type of a and print type of b and print type of c. Okay. So cat script1, this is a script now. I defined three variables and I am just going to display that, and also I am just checking the type of these variables. Now if you see Python, two different ways. I just execute with the Python interpreter name now. So Python space then script1.py and see the output now. A value 10, B value 4.5, C value Unix. And see here type. The first one is integer, then the second one float, then third one string. How it knows? See, like how the code is actually. See, Python interpreter is understanding very clear what type of data. So as a programmer, we no need to define it. The interpreter itself, it is understanding at the time of execution. So how it understands means if you define any numerical value, then it understands, okay, this is an integer. But the numerical value, if I define between the single quote or double quotes, again it will go to the string. So that means you should know without quotes, if you define numerical value, that is an integer. Without quotes, if you define some float value, that is a float, which is point values. And with quotes, whatever if you define single quotes or double quotes, if you use it, it reads as a string. Is it clear now? Any doubt in this? The simple variable declaration we discussed. Okay. So how to define variable using with assignment operator, and how to display the variable, we just use the variable name directly. But if you see like I just want to write another variable name, I'm just writing something print d. So is d is exist here? No, right? If not exist, what happens we'll see. In Python, one good thing is we can clearly understand the error message. Anyone can understand. See now. Okay. See. Till here, okay. That means since it is a line by line execution with Python interpreter, it executed actually the first line, second line like that. But the last one, d, there is no variable. So print d, and we got actually name error. So it is clearly telling that name D is not defined. Okay, so name D is not defined. That means we didn't define this variable. So name error, whenever if you see, there is no variable. Very simple. So based on the error message, you can clearly understand. There are a couple of error message, like errors and exceptions here. Like actually I just need to add that concept also. There is a concept called error handling and exception handling. We do cover that in regular session. But here actually name error means it's a variable name issue. That means we didn't define that variable. That is why actually we are getting it. There are different types of errors: name error, value error, and indentation error. Whenever if you are writing a conditional statements and loops, it always checks the indentation. Like that, we have a lot of error messages. We can see based on the error message itself, we can understand what it is. So here it is clearly telling that name error means name D is not defined. So I don't want to take this D as a variable. I just want to display this D as it is, like a D. Then what we can do, I just told we can use actually that D between the single quote or double quotes. I am using now single quote. We'll see. I am using single quote. So if you use quotes, then it will not think that is not a variable now. So it will just understand, okay, that is just string. Then it display the value. Right? So now we'll see what is raw underscore input and input function. So the raw underscore input, both we are using to take input from the keyboard only. And in Python 3 versions, there is no concept of raw underscore input. In Python 3 versions, we have only input, but we are covering here Python 2 version. So raw underscore input, it is used to take input from the keyboard, but it actually takes everything as a string. That means, for example, if user enter 10 or if user enter something 2.5 or if user enter something Unix, the raw underscore input function, it treats everything as a string. You got my point? So raw underscore input function, it is used to take input from the keyboard, and whatever entered by user, it treats as a string. Every time it treats as a string. But if I want to take the 10 as a numeric value or 2.5 as a float value, then how to do? So first we will see how to use this. Okay. So the syntax is variable name. We generally use like this: variable name equal to raw underscore input. Then whatever you want to write, you can write it. Something, enter a name like that. I'll write now. And I'm using comment here. Something, name equal to, right? Name equal to, that is a variable name. And raw underscore input, I'm typing something, enter a name. Okay, name equal to raw underscore input, enter a name. And I want to display print your name is name. See how I'm writing, your name is name. Okay, now see, if I run this script, because of raw underscore input, the cursor it will wait for to take input from the keyboard. See, it is waiting now, enter a name. And I'm typing Babu. So now tell me what will be the output here. I need total output, what it display. So is it correct? Yeah. So Sekhar said your name is Babu, like that. So of course my name is Babu, but I need output. So what it displays, your name is Babu, or what it will be, Robert, Monica, Manupati, Karthik. I need output from you guys. Now of course your name is colon, then Babu you are telling. And just now we discussed that in Python, whatever if you define between the double quotes or single quotes, it just treat as a string. There is no concept of interpolation. That means there is no concept of substitution between the double quotes. There is no variable substitution between the double quotes in Python. Whatever if you write between the single quote or double quotes, it just treat as a string. That's it. Now tell me what will be the output. Yeah, exactly. It will not take that Babu here since we use that quotes. You should aware of that quotes. Whatever if you define between the single quote or double quotes in Python, everything it treats as a string. That's it. Now how to display this name then? So we should remove that quotes. Like if you want to write a string for understand something message, then write that between the single or double quotes your name is, then use comma which is a separator, then the variable name without quotes. So now execute and type Babu here, and you can see your name is Babu. Now again I am running that, your name, I am just typing 10, your name is 10, and I am typing 2.5, your name is 2.5. So everything it is accepting. So I just want to check which type of data it is. So what is the function? Type is a function. So type of name. So if you see the type of name, again I am trying to execute. So I am typing Babu. See, your name is Babu, string. We know, of course, Babu, which is a string. But I am trying to write, actually I am trying to give here the input 10. But still it is taking as an like a string. 2.5, still it is taking as a string. That's what I said. Raw underscore input function, it actually takes input from the keyboard, but everything it treats as a string. So if I use like raw underscore input function for numeric values, what happened? It is taking as a string actually. So if you want to add, say for example, I'll show you some other script now. For example, num1 equal to raw underscore input something, enter a number, then num2 equal to, okay, num2 equal to raw underscore input, enter a num2. So I just want to add this, so print sum of num1, okay, sum of num1 and num2 is comma, because we know that it should not be within quotes, then I'm just writing like this. Okay, so now again I'm trying to execute it. So enter num1, I'm typing 10, and enter num2 20. Then tell me what will be the output here. Yes, are you following my session, the first question? Are you following it, or is it boring, or how it will, like you have any weekend schedules? Yeah, but you guys are not answering my question, right? I'm not telling you, Sekhar. I'm just asking others. So what is the output, Robert? Any idea? Any guess? $30? So I'm not asking how much 10 plus 20. I'm asking here in Python how it reads. Hmm. We just discussed this 10 and 20, because of raw underscore input function, it is treating as a string. 10 is a string now, 20 is a string now. If it is a string, plus, see, the plus operator we are using for numeric purpose. If it is a numeric values, then only it display plus, it takes as arithmetic operator. But since it is a string, the plus is not an arithmetic operator now. The same plus we are using in Python for string concatenation. See, in Python plus we are using two purposes. If it is a numeric value, it is used for addition, that means which is a arithmetic operator. If it is a string, then concatenation. What is concatenation? String concatenation is nothing but combining two or more strings, like it combines that. So here raw underscore input function it treats as a string, then what will be the output now? There is no plus now. Plus it treats as a 10 20. Concatenation means combining two strings. It combines that 10 20. It displays 10 20. Is it clear or not? Any doubt? Again, if I ask question, then if you are not answering, then I'll understand. Maybe you are not understanding. I'll treat like that. Is it clear now? Because raw underscore input function, it always whatever, if you enter a value, it always treat as a string. So that is why here plus it works as a concatenation operator. So the output will be 10 20. So that's what actually we got it. We got here 10 20. But now I just want to add these two values. So remember, whenever if you are using raw underscore input, before using the function itself, you should know, clear about that what type of value you are accepting or what type of value you want to take, whether it is integer or float or string. If it is a string, no issues. But if you want to take something as an integer, then you should use here only in this concept. Okay, only whenever you are using raw underscore input, just use int of raw underscore input. That means it will convert that string to integer. But again, if I am using int, it should be only numerical value. If I type something Babu, it will not convert. So I'll show you that. Okay. So now this is one way, or you can use num2 equal to int of num2. Anything is fine. So what it is doing now, it is converting that string to integer. So I'll show you here, print type of num2, and the same line after converting with integer. Again I am typing 10 and 20. So 10, it's a string now because of raw underscore input, but with int function, so int I added, it converts that is an integer. So the string it converts as an integer and it assigned to the number. And later num2, so num2 type is actually string here, but later we converted with integer, then it is an integer, then the plus it works as arithmetic. Now see, type string first time, but the second time we converted with integer, then it is taking as integer. Now that is output. But again see, for example, I am typing 10 and I am typing Unix. Now guess what will be the output? Yeah. What is output? That's it. I entered 10 and I entered Unix. What will be the output? So you're still not understanding that. No, 10 Unix it will not write. So Unix, is it really converts string to integer? That is not possible because of character. If it is a decimal value, then it converts with base 10. Like if you know, like LCM concept, like 2, then decimal, how to convert, like when those concepts, like how it is, if it is a number it converts. But here this is not a number, this is a string. So you'll get actually value error. See, till here these 3 lines it executed because it is executing line by line. So type is string, yes, that's true. But I am trying to convert that, like num2, which is actually Unix, with integer, which is not possible because the reason value error. Invalid literal for int with base 10. So it is checking with the base 10, but that is not possible for the string. This is actually possible for only numeric value. You got my point or not? So, this all actually should understand, then only Python is easy. But still, this is very easy concept. You can clearly understand based on the error itself. So if you see wherever this type of error, then that is nothing but we are just converting something string to integer and integer to string, like that. So string to integer only possible if it is a numeric value. String to integer not possible if it is a string value. That means if it is a character, we cannot. If it is a like a numerical value, yes, we can convert it. So this concept is clear, right? So is there any doubt? Then you can ask me again, I will explain. Okay. So now this is not possible with string, so you should use always integer because we are using something int of variable, then it accepts. So before converting, type. So if you want, write it. Okay, then after converting. So this is for understanding. Okay, we can just write like that. See, before convert as integer, type is string. After converting as integer, then type is integer, because we converted that string to integer. Clear, right? Yeah. So now this is about underscore input. But what is input function then? Why input is required? Underscore input, we saw that two behaviors here. One is actually it is taking input from the keyboard, and the second behavior, every time it is treating as a string. But what is input behavior means? Input function, it just takes input from the keyboard and it assigned to the variable. That's it. You got my point? Input function, it just takes input from the keyboard and it assigned to the variable. It will not think whether it is an integer, float, string. It don't care about that. It just takes input from the keyboard and it assigned to the variable. That's it. Then who will take care? Python interpreter already knows that the variable, if you define something static variable, a equal to 10, b equal to 2.5, we know that how Python interpreter is treating. If it is a equal to 10, so that is a that is a numerical value, then it understands as an integer. If you write something b equal to 2.5, some static variable, then Python interpreter understands because of that point value, that is a float. But here we are taking input from the user, which is dynamically using with input function. But input function behavior is what? It just takes input from the keyboard and it assigns to the variable. That's it. Now I'll show you that. Now you should answer for that now. I'm just taking this 3 lines again. Commenting. Okay. So instead of underscore input, I'll use this input function. I'm trying to execute now, and I'm typing 10. So tell me what will be the output now. Then type is what? That's what type of data it is. Is it text as a string or what it is, or integer? So who will take that? Hmm. Yeah. So here input function is only taking input from the keyboard and assigning to the variable. That's the input job. But later, after assigning to the variable, Python interpreter understands this type. So we already knows that Python interpreter clearly, so we discussed that. So if it is a equal to 10 and b equal to 2.5 and c equal to something Unix, okay, and now we know print a, it display the value a, then I'm just typing type of a, so display the integer, because Python interpreter understands this. So float, then string, and if I type something print Unix, what will be the output now? What is output? No, name error, right? Why you people are confusing, I don't know. Whatever if you define between the quotes, then only it treats as a string. Without quotes, it always treats as a variable. This is not a variable now. It just gives name error. Yeah, so okay, so it should be like, you should be clear like whenever we are writing this. So whatever if you write between the quotes, then only it understands, okay, this is a string. Then it displays as it is like a string. You got my point? So now the same it repeats here. Okay, I'll show you. Just a minute. Control Z. Yeah. So now see Python, then session 1 underscore script dot py. So enter a name. So I'm just typing 2.5. What will be the output now? See, all guys are attending from US, like you are in morning actually, like with fresh mind. I'm actually like 10 o'clock here, that is weekend. I'm active. Why you guys are like not active? I don't know. So what is output now? Type. It is not an integer, it's a float. Right? Yeah. So now if I type something Unix, what will be the output? Hmm. It's not string now. It will give error and it will give name error. It's not a string, so it treats as a variable. So there is no variable called Unix here. Then we'll get actually name error. No, it will not, because this is not in quotes. So input is what it is taking. It is just taking input Unix and simply it assigned to the name. And later we are executing it. Python interpreter understands this variable not exist. But if you want to take that as a Unix, then you should write something between the quotes here, either single or double quotes. Now it reads your name is Unix, then type is string. For example, if you want to take this without quotes, then we should define some variable here, Unix equal to some value. I'm just defining 10, and again if you run it, then if you type Unix, then it will read the value from the variable. Any doubts now? Is it clear, everyone? Like the functions which is underscore input and input in these two, any doubts? So is it clear for everyone? Yeah. Okay. So okay, so can we continue that operators and all? Like we'll go 5 minutes break and again can we continue? I'm free. That's up to you. If you have any schedules, then based on your schedule I'll plan it. Okay. So how about you, Robot? I'm just asking like can we continue or can we stop? Okay. And how about you, Sekhar? Karthik? Okay. Yeah. And then Monica, I'll share this recording for you. What I will do, I'll just take 5 minutes break and we'll continue again. So I'll go to that operators and we'll see that operators. Okay. Yeah. So we have a 5 minutes break now. After 5 minutes, we'll continue. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. So can we start? Yeah, Sekar, Robot, Karthik, you guys are there? Okay. So we'll see now the operators in Python. Okay, operators in Python. So if you have any doubts, then you can unmute it and ask me. Otherwise, go on mute. Okay, that will be actually good. I think Robot. If you have doubt, you can ask me, or else you can go on mute. So I'm getting actually echo from your end. Okay. So the operators here, we have actually list of operators in Python, which is generally like arithmetic, and we have relational operators. I'll just write like this. Yeah, arithmetic operators, relational operators, and we have logical operators, assignment, and shorthand assignment, and we have a membership operators here, membership operator, and we have identity, and we have string concatenation, and string repetition. Okay, so these are generally operators in Python. So we'll see the operators one by one. So arithmetic, relational, logical, assignment, shorthand assignment, membership, identity, and string concatenation, and string repetition, right? Okay. So the first one is arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators here, plus, minus, then multiplication operator, then division, then mode like this, then exponent. Okay, so we just discussed that, whenever if you want to add the value, so you can use like this, like generally, like if you go interactive mode, if you type a equal to 10, then b equal to 20, then if you want to add something a plus b, you'll get the value. If you want to get something a, then star star 3, then you can see actually like 10 cube. Star star is exponent operator. Generally, you will get that the power value. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, hi robot, you there? Yeah, see, I told I'm getting echo from here, and if you have any doubts, you can unmute it and ask me, or else go on mute, please. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so here, see, this is exponent operator. So exponent operator which we are using for power. So the same, you can try now, accept two numbers, and means like later also what we discussed, accept two numbers like this, use with underscore input or input, and check all the operators. Like I just added here sum of num1 and num2 is num plus num2, and just write that second one, sum of num1 and num2, num minus 1 and num2, then multiplication, then division, like that. Okay, so if it is a numeric value, then we can add and we can subtract whatever, like multiplication and all. Okay, then coming to the relational operators. The relational operators here, generally in other languages we have two different types of operators, which is numeric comparison and string comparison. Okay, numeric comparison and string comparison. Like Karthik and Sekar, you tell me in shell scripting numeric comparison operators how to write. We actually discussed that in shell script. In shell scripting we discussed numeric comparison, string comparison operators. So like what are all operators we have in numeric comparison in shell? So how to write that equal to, greater than? Is it like symbol like this? I told that in shell scripting all other languages numeric comparison means we use symbols like equal to, greater than, equal to. But in shell, if it is a numeric comparison, then we should use hyphen gt hyphen lt, like that. And if it is a string, then we use like a hyphen, equal to, then not equal to, then greater than symbol, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, like. So this is in shell, but in Perl generally, if it is a numeric comparison, then it takes like equal to and something greater than, like that itself. But in Python, we don't have two different operators. In Python, if you are using numeric or string, that does not matter. Both we are using only one operators, which is actually symbols. So we use greater than for both numeric or like string, less than, and greater than equal to, less than or equal to, then equal to, and not equal to, like this. We'll see how it works. So for example here, so if you want, you can write actually as a script, or else you can check in the interactive mode itself. I'll show you here. A equal to 10 and B equal to 20 and C equal to 10. In Python, if the value, that means if it condition is true, that means if less than or greater than whatever the operator you are using, if it is true, it display true. If it is false, it display false, but not 1 0. If it is true, it display TRUE. If it is false, it display FALSC, like that. So print A less than B. So print A greater than B. Print A equal to, print A not equal to. So what is the output for first one now? What is the output for first one? A less than B. 10 less than 20. True. Right? So then A greater than B, 10 greater than 20, false. A equal to B, false. A not equal to B, true. So true, false, false, true. See, display true, false, false, true. Now if it is a string, I said that even for strings we use the same. So I'm just commenting this now, and I'm writing A equal to ABCD and B equal to BC and C equal to something MAC. So I'll write here print A less than C as well. Now what is the output for first one? True or false? And first thing, tell me, like if it is a string, how generally the comparison will be? If it is a string, okay, see, in Python we are using only this operator for both. That's clear. So now coming to the string comparison, if it is a string, how it compares? Is it based on the string length or based on ASCII code, or how it will be? Yeah, so the string comparison always based on the ASCII code character. So even we no need to remember ASCII value if you know how to check the words in dictionary. Like if you see here A, B, C, D and BC and MAC, we know that A, B, M, it checks the first character first. Then in this A, B, M, the first it takes A, then that means like A, B, C, D is the first word. Then BC, then MAC. But still, if you want to know the ASCII value, in Python we have a built-in function for that. So you can use like print ORD of A. ORD is a built-in function to get the ASCII value. Sorry, this is a right? So it should be in quotes. 97. So ASCII value of small a is 97. ASCII value of capital A is 65. ASCII value of 1 is 49. Like that you can check. ORD is a built-in function. Okay, so now Control Z. Now here, based on that, we can clearly understand now A, B, C, D and BC. So first character itself it decided A and B. A ASCII value 97, B ASCII value 98. So that means this is less comparing with B. So A less than B, which is true, right? The first one is true now. And the second one, A greater than B, so opposite, so false. Then this is again false and this is true. But coming to the A less than C, so the first character A, then here M, so again A less than M, right? So A less than M, so that means here A less than C, which is true. So for example, if I have a B, C, D and ABC, then how it checks? If I have a something A, B, C, D here, then if you have something A, B, C here, then it checks the first character. If both are same, then it will go to the second one. Then if second also same, then third one. Then third also same, then it checks fourth. So we have extra character. That means now how it checks? So now it understands, okay, A, B, C, D is a greater comparing with A, B, C. That means A, B, C less than A, B, C, D. Now I am writing something A, B, C, D and something A, B, M, P. So the first character same, second character same, then third character it checks. M is greater, then it decides A, B, M, P, A, B, M, P greater than A, B, C, D, like this. So this is not based on the string length. This is always based on the character ASCII code. But still, see, we are using the same operator here. There is no confusion. It's very clear here. We can use the same operator for both. Got it right? Is it clear now? Any doubts in this? Yeah. So the next one is logical operators. The logical operators we use here and or not. so which we already knows that logical table we discussed on shell. So and or not. So we use here directly and, we use or, we use not symbols, we use directly and or not. And how it works, we know that generally like if I take something two values, and if you see P and Q, P or Q, not P. So if P value is true, Q value also true, then we know that AND operator, if both are true, even one false, that is false. OR operator, if both are false, then only false, even one true, that is true. So here this is true now, then this is also true. Not means exactly opposite, which is negation for that, false. True, false. What is AND now? One false. So if one false is there, false, right? Then this is true, and this one also false. Then false and true, then this one is false, and this one is true, and this is true now. And if both are false, then and false or false and not. So whenever if you are using logical operators, always it works based on this logical table. So that actually you can understand in conditional statements if you write, or else if you want to see, I'll show you here something like the same operators I'll take. So I define three variables now. And I'm writing condition if A less than B and C greater than B. And the conditional statement syntax here, if condition it ends with colon, then indentation is must. So indentation means minimum one space is required here. That actually you'll understand in the conditional statements, indentation concept. I'm just writing now. I want to explain here only the logical operators, but how we are using in conditional statements I'm explaining now. But we have a separate concept for conditional statements, you can understand it. Okay, so print, I'm just displaying something true. That's it. So else, then print, I want to display false. So don't think whatever the statement I am displaying here, just understand the logic how it is working. So A less than B, 10 greater than 20 and 20 greater than 30. So sorry, 30 greater than 20. So 10 less than 20 and operator. So 10 less than 20, which is true here, right? So this is true. And C greater than B, which is 30 greater than 20, again true. So true and true is true. So if the total condition is true, this statement executes. So that means now it executes here true. But if I change this condition, might be like less than something like C less than B, which is 30 less than 20, false. So true and false, which is false, then it executes else part. But instead of and, if you use or even one true, that is true, then again it executes print true. Like that we use actually logical operators. Is it clear now? Yeah. So assignment operator we know, which we are using only single equal to define any variable, a equal to 10 like this, n equal to something units. So to define a string or to define a numeric value, whatever the value you want to define, then we use actually variable. For variables actually assignment operator, which is single equal to required. Double equal to means comparison. Single equal to assign the value to the variable. Then how about this shorthand assignment? Since we don't have actually like in Python we don't have like a post increment, pre increment like I plus 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 I here. So instead of that, whenever if you are writing a while loop, something like that, then we use shorthand assignment operators, which is plus equal to, minus equal to, multiplication equal to, something division equal to, then mode equal to, okay, like this. Then how it works? For example, a equal to 10 and I want to add something a plus 5, then print a. So what it display? It display 15. But I don't want to use a equal to a plus 5. Then you can use directly a plus equal to 5. This is equal to a equal to a plus 5. But like we can write directly this, right? Then why we are using this? You know, if you use a equal to a plus 5, what happens? It is actually taking from the variable 10, then 10 plus 5 15. Again it is assigning to the another variable, even if it is the same variable. It creates a reference now, new reference. So again I just want to display from the reference. That means it takes some time. We are incrementing the value and assigning to the variable, it generates a new reference, and from that reference we are calling the value. But if you use a plus equal to 5, I am not creating any new reference now. At the time of execution I am just adding directly. So it just takes some fraction of second to add that, and I am not assigning that value to the any other variable. So that means it just add at the time of execution and it display. So temporarily it adds and it display. So that means this is actually fast comparing with the variable declaration. So if I define a variable, then if you want to add the value, then directly you can use a plus equal. That means shorthand assignment operator, you can use it. Okay. Now membership operator. So membership operators is nothing but we have actually in and not in, but we mostly use in operator. So I'll just explain in. What is in means, for example, I have a list of values. I want to check whether the value exists or not. So list means it's a collection of values. We use square brackets for defining a list. Anyway, we will discuss again list itself. It will take minimum 1 hour of time. Okay, because list concept is very much important in Python. So I have a list now. The variable name, any name you can define. I am just define this because of too easy to understand. So I want to check the value 10 exists or not. So 10 in list. So in is an operator. It checks that value exists or not. If it is exist, it display true. If it is not exist, then it display false. So in just we are using for to check that value exists or not from the list or from the dictionary or from tuple, like that. Is it clear? So in. Then coming to the identity operator. So identity operator, again we have is and is not, but is generally important. What is this means? It's equal to for example, you tell me what is here. I'll just write some example. I'm writing something a equal to 10 and b equal to 10 and c equal to 20. So print a equal to b. What will be the output? What is the output now? It is true, right? A equal to b. A equal to c. False. Now I am using print a is b. Again it display true. A is c, false. But if you see here, it looks like both are same, right? Comparison and is, it looks like same, but this is not same. What is the difference between these two means? Equal to operator, this is equal to operator, it checks based on the value. It checks based on the value. If value both are same, then it display true. If it is not same, then it display false. But is operator, it checks based on the reference. This is not based on the value. It checks based on the reference. What is A reference? What is B reference? What is C reference? So it checks based on the reference. But how to get the reference? For example, see here, if you want to see that reference of this variable, we have ID. ID of A, ID of B, ID of C. So if you see here, A and B values are same, like references are same, that is why it is accepting true. But if you see ID of C, the reference is different. But is it really like always the references or something values it matches? No, it will not. If you see like list 1, I have the values 10, 20, 30, and list 2 I am writing 10, 20, 30, the same values, right? I told that if you are using a comparison operator which is equal to or any comparison operator, it always checks based on the value. Now in this case this is true because 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30. But I said that is generally it checks based on the reference. If we have a multiple values, then the references, even if the values are same, the reference it never same. The reference is different. See now, false. Because the reason, if you see the ID of list 1 and ID of list 2, both not same. Right? So since the references are different, it is displaying something false. But comparison operator equal to how it works? It always works based on the values. That is why that is true. So it checks based on the reference always. That is identity operator in Python. Then concatenation operator we already know, which is plus. If both, like if we have a two strings, then it concatenate that. So for example, I have a str equal to, I'm just writing Python, and str, like I want to add this something print then str, I'm using plus, then program. See, Python program, it display like that. Concatenation is combining two strings. Then we have a string repetition also. Again, see, repetition, multiplication we are using star, and repetition also we are using star. But the difference is, if it is, for example, see, if I have a something like 10 into 20, then it display 200. But if I use one string here, which is Unix, and if I want to display this string 4 times, then we use actually 4. This is a repetition, string repetition. I just want to repeat this string 4 times. I want to, whatever if you write between the quotes, then it treats as a string. I want to display this star hash maybe 10 times. Then again use like this. So this is a repetition. It repeats that many times. Okay. These are operators we have in Python. Is it clear now? Any doubts in these operators? Arithmetic, relational, and logical, assignment, shorthand assignment, membership and identity, and string concatenation, repetition. So that's all about today. Yeah. Second. Conditional statements are different. So now the next concept is conditional statements and loops. So conditional statements, we are using these operators inside that conditional statements. Okay, so I know we people are actually already in shell we have a concatenation, but string repetition not there, it seems. I think need to check. So in conditional we have actually simple if. Okay, simple if like this. I'm just giving the list of conditional statements, and if else, and we have ladder if, and next if also there, but we rarely use ladder if. So simple if else, and ladder if we have, and then later, like loops concept. Loops we have actually while and for loop. That's it. While and for loop. See, the case statement in like switch case, for that we should use like the module for that. So import case, import switch. So if you use import switch, then only it works, otherwise it will not. By default there is no switch. So instead of that we generally use ladder if itself. Okay. So now coming to the loops, we are actually having that while and for loop, and loop control statements we have. Loop control statements we have like continue and break, and pause statement as well. We generally use continue and break. These all are conditional statements and loops. But here everything same like other programming, but we have actually indentation concept in Python. That you should know how to write the syntaxes and all. Okay. So I think you guys already feeling bored. So I'll just stop now. Okay. Yeah, I know. So even I'm thinking, I just want, I see if I go like this, actually we can eat. But the thing is, might be you people need to understand that's important first. Yeah, I saw that some people dropped. Yeah, who is starting there? Is it okay? How many people are there? You guys are attending or any other batch? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, he called me actually. Just give the overview. That's enough. But I actually came with all concepts now. Hmm? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So which OpenStack? They are covering Red Hat OpenStack or what? Open source OpenStack might be like from Rack. Okay, okay. But generally people are using Red Hat OpenStack. It seems. I don't know. Check. I think Red Hat OpenStack, because that OpenStack is a open source. Everyone they they implemented their own. So Red Hat have their own. Then some other companies also have their own. Like yeah. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you. Have a nice day. So we'll see. I'll just check with Sambasar again. What like really need to complete it. But this is actually like there is a session, regular session. Actually, I told right the content what I explained first. So that actually takes 25 to 30 hours actually. So I'll just check with him and I'll update you. And robot for you, there is a session again. My tomorrow morning, which is Sunday morning, 8 a.m. IST time. So, are you available today evening? Your today evening? Robot, is there? Okay. Morning. Okay. Sure. Then I'll just check the timings and I will email you. Okay. Thank you. Then have a nice day. I'll close the session. Yeah.